All right, GM. Welcome to another weekly batch analysis. This time it's week 34, and I don't have many trades this week. Uh, I actually didn't take any trades, I believe. I just documented 2 trades, and there wasn't really a lot happening. I think I made a mistake not taking one trade, but I know exactly why I did that, and I'm not mad at myself. Well, I'm not mad at myself for it, but I'll get to that. I'll get to that. So as always, let's just start with last week. So last week I had minus 1.8, and had I traded perfectly, it would be minus 0.6. Actually, what I can do is I can go into my weekly analysis here and go to 33. Yeah, this one. And looks like I made a mistake here. Yeah. So one trade was that I traded just before news, and that was stupid. And because of that, I created a new rule to create alerts before news as part of my morning routine. And that's also what I wrote here, what to focus on, create news alerts. And to be completely honest, I didn't do it. I did not do it. I did check news in the morning, and because everything looked completely trash on my C time frames, I didn't even bother with creating alerts because I was pretty sure I'm not gonna follow anything. But there was a risk that when there ultimately was one thing that I decided to follow, maybe I could have traded into news. And actually, UK 100, which was the asset I was following, at one point was very close to setting up on the 1 minute or on my entry time frame, and that was like 10 minutes before news. And if it wasn't for my trading buddies, I probably wouldn't even have noticed. And yeah, I didn't set up, but had it set up, maybe I would have taken it into news, and that's very bad. So going forward, I really want to pay more attention to this. I mean, what's it gonna realistically take? It's gonna take 1 minute to set up all the alerts. I can just talk to Siri, tell her, hey, set alerts for this and this time, and that's it. So yeah, need to get better at that. Spending more time on the watch list. Yes, I have been doing this. Even just like doubling my time, doubling it from 1 minute to 2 minutes, just really making sure that whatever I'm looking at, I'm absolutely sure that I don't want to put it on the watch list, or that I do. So yeah, I did get better at this for sure. Do not trade stage one. Yeah, of course. Don't trade instant markets. Yeah, this is a big one. There was some kind of asset I remember that had like was in relatively good context, and then it pumped really hard, but I decided not to follow it for this reason. So what I mean by this is yep, this is good. So let's say I have some kind of market that is going just like sideways, like herder, supply demand equilibrium, blah blah blah, all good, and all of a sudden fucking boom, right? And it goes hard in like one, maybe 2 candles. I really don't like that. It's very inconsistent. And what happens here is, so if I think about what actually happens in reality, right, in the liquidity books and all of that stuff, when you have price and you have your spread, you have your bid and ask and all of that, you have a liquidity book, and there is like liquidity stacked in the book, and this liquidity is usually provided by market makers. And of course, there's some retail and like all kinds of participants with their limit orders as well. But in general, as price moves, there is like this barrier around price that is always going to be there. I know how this works because I used to I used to create bots for liquidity provision. I pretty much was a market maker in the past for some small crypto coins, so I know how these things work. And basically, they have like a refresher. I don't know exactly how it works in TradFi, like what kind of exact times they work with, but like every second, let's say, they can be refreshing these walls to make sure that there is like thick liquidity around price on both sides, right? But the walls are only so thick. So let's say that this is the sell thickness, this is the buy thickness, right? And after that, over here and going up, and over here and going down, there isn't much concentration of liquidity. So if you have something like this happening where it pumps insanely hard, what really happened is that somebody came into the market, and here it's a buy, right? And he bought an insane amount of that underlying asset that ate up all of this liquidity, and tapped into this liquidity void. And when that happens, your order needs to get filled, right? If he presses or if someone presses a market order over here, it's going to get filled at the best possible price. So it gets partially filled by eating all of this liquidity, and then it gets filled partially all the way up until it gets fully um, filled. And when this happens, that is a sign of inefficiency, right? That's what leaving inefficiency in the market truly means. Because whoever entered here got entered at a very, very unfair price and basically got filled in an inefficient way. And it's literally just a single order. It's very inconsistent compared to if it was something like this and it breaks out, right, in a nice wave of buying, maybe reaccumulates a little bit and creates a strong, strong momentum cycle, right? This is completely different than this because this is consistent. It just continues higher. And then when it finally reaccumulates, I'm going to be very, very happy to continue trading this. But trading this, nah, I'm not into that. I'm not into that at all. Usually, from my experience, what I see happening is that this starts going like sideways, then it does some stupid shit, right? It's a very, very choppy wiki, and maybe I'm like, okay, so if it breaks into a new range, perhaps there is something to follow, and usually it does, but it's still just dragging itself and doing nothing really. So, what I decided to do, very simply, is just not trade any of this garbage. I just don't. It's very inconsistent, and I would much rather wait for something better. So yeah, that's just a very quick intermission regarding that. But I thought that was relevant to talk about. So yeah, I don't trade these inconsistent markets and focus on strong stage twos. Of course, that's the basic momentum following, right? And track markets well. Yeah. So let's go into week 34 over here, and let's see what was up. Okay. So, Monday, no trades, nothing even on the watch list. Yep, Tuesday, no trades, nothing on the watch list. And coming in Wednesday, there was one trade that I did not take, and that's a UK 100 trade. So that should be this one. And I think that's the one that I didn't take that I was supposed to take. Right, so what am I writing here? Did not trade this because the spread is quite big and it looks quite illiquid. The entry looks perfect though. All right, so let's check it out. So here we are on the 1 hour on UK 100. I know that UK 100 is very, very bullish even on the higher time frame, just like most indices. And here we have a stage one. And here I already started looking for some trades, but I don't know what time exactly this was. It doesn't matter. Didn't get anything here, then dumped back. So like, yeah, whatever. I need to see some serious strength come in order to be convinced to follow this. And sure enough, here it pumps super hard. On the 6 minute, we can see that, right? This beautiful, beautiful buying, then a little bit of a reaccumulation. Not really. This looks like just one big push. This doesn't even look like a reaccumulation. Not sure if I would call this an MMB. Let's see. Maybe I would. I mean, some lows got liquidated. So yeah, this was MMB1, and this is then MMB2. MMB1 and MMB2 are the perfect areas for me to look for a trade. So yeah, I was definitely watching. Here, big wave of buying, right? Beautiful. And here it reaccumulates. Some lows start getting liquidated. Exactly what I want to see. Starts going sideways, sideways, sideways. All I'm waiting for here is one, I want to make sure that this reaccumulation looks nice, and that's like based on experience and everything, right? I don't want to see anything inconsistent. I don't want to see huge, huge dumps. I don't want to see too deep pullbacks and all of that stuff. I want it to be around the 50 pretty much, which is over here. So here this looks beautiful, and now all I'm waiting for when I'm somewhere over here is reignition. By reignition, I mean very, very strong buy button, right? Somebody reignites that previous demand over here. So this stage 2 is beautiful. Now I'm looking for this stage 2. And this stage 2 comes in very, very strong, pulls back, even liquidates a low here. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful MB here. This is MMB1. There is even like a stage 1 over here, I guess you could say. And this entry was absolute perfection. The problem is I didn't take it because I started immediately looking at the 10-second, even though UK 100 is not really a It's not a asset that I can trade on the 10 seconds simply because the spread is pretty big, but I made the evaluation of whether to trade it or not based on the 10 second, and that was absolutely stupid. I should have just looked at the 1 minute, and that would have given me the green light to actually trade this. So what happens over here? I would get tapped in right after this. I would be risk free. This was not enough strength for me just yet, so I waited for, well, when this doesn't run far enough, I just wait for the fractal structure, and that happens over here, so I get risk-free right after the break of this high. And yeah, that delivers to +5. And here I'm writing, I looked at the 10 seconds, which is not the time frame I wanted to trade this on anyway. The 1 minute looks just fine. Should have taken this to be fair. Yep, and that runs to +5 very quickly. This was perfect actually. Yeah, so yeah, I didn't take it, and that's unfortunate. So I missed a win, but I definitely should have taken this one. So let's label it up. So here, this is a stage 1 breakout. Oops. Okay, and it's on good momentum. Yes, sir. Okay, this is good momentum. And this is honestly a perfect entry. And yeah, this is actually, like, looking at this, this is perfection. I mean, you can see this stage 2 that demand is clearly overpowering supply, just like a very one-sided market, a very nice consistent pullback, flagging pullback, very nice, like nothing crazy, beautiful sideways, some lows liquidated, and then just a beautiful DMB. I mean, I can even mark up the DMB here. So this would be MB1. Jeez, where is this? Okay. This is MB1, and this is MB2. So yeah, this is so nice. Really beautiful. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger just to like, ooh, okay, like this, so I can see it. Maybe a little bit wider as well. Okay, good. Yeah, so nice. Should have taken it. Unfortunate. So didn't take, should have taken, and 60-minute was very good context. 6-minute was good momentum, and 1 minute was a good entry. Yeah, management-wise, that was perfect. So this deserves a perfect. All right. So moving on, yeah, reflection. I checked UK 100, but 10-second looked illiquid, so I didn't pay attention. Joke is on me. 1 minute entries were perfectly fine. Yeah. Oh well, shit happens. Moving on to Thursday, there were no trades, nothing even on my watch list. And then Friday, there was one more UK 100 trade, but I didn't actually take it, but I decided to document it. So let's take a look what happened. This is a few days after this initial trade. So we can see that initially we traded somewhere over here, and then it started reaccumulating. This was a very deep pullback over here, and quite inconsistent. And I was just waiting for a breakout into a new range, which happens over here. Let's take a look what that looks like on the 6-minute. Yep, big stage 1 over here, and then a breakout on big volume and creating an MMB over here, pulling back to the rising 1020, exactly where I want to trade. And this, looking at the stage 2, this stage 2 is beautiful. Demand overpowering supply in a very nice, consistent way. Here, there is like this inconsistent big move, but it's okay because it's not like out of nowhere. You know, there is already like some beautiful buying happening, and it continues happening. Here it pulls back, started liquidating some lows, and this is actually a beautiful setup. But at 16 o'clock there was news for me, so I had to skip that. And let me just see if that was, well, what do I write here about this? So didn't take this because it was minutes before red news. Yep. So just wondering. So on the 10-second, it's 15:55. Yeah, I think this tapped me in before news. Was it? Let me see. So maybe a few seconds after news, maybe a few seconds after, but also the type of red news that this was uh, Jerome Powell speaking. And it's not like, okay, at 16 o'clock, Jerome Powell joins the stage and he immediately says the news. So that's not really what happened. So the news are a bit more uh, uncertain. It's not like the data drops at the same time. It's more like, okay, it will be shared in a matter of, I don't know, minutes or within an hour. So I don't think I can really participate in that move. And that's the reason why I skipped this. But if that wasn't the case, this trade was, in my opinion, absolutely beautiful. So let's see how that actually looked like. So this was a 1 minute trade again. So the MBs over here, this was MB1 and this is MB2. I can even make it a little bit bigger, I guess. This is fine. Actually, they are perfectly symmetrical, perfectly proportional. So yeah, this was a very, very nice trade. So over here, what do we have? We have good momentum over here. We have a stage 1 breakout over here on good momentum. Actually, let me do that like this because I'm lazy as fuck. All right, good. And this would have been a perfect entry for sure. And what ends up happening? So after this big candle, had it not been news, I would have reduced risk, of course. After this, yeah, I would have reduced risk twice because UK 100 has quite big spread. So whenever there is bigger spread, I reduce risk twice. So the first time I reduced spread to the intended entry, which was over here at the orange line. And the second time I would go completely break even. So I'm risking that I can take this like 0.2 R in spread losses. But here it would actually have worked and kept me in. If I didn't do that, I would have gotten tapped out. And here, as it breaks out into a new high, that's when I would have reduced risk completely. And this continues going higher, goes to like, I don't know, 4.5, 4.7 or some shit, and comes back to break even. And yeah, just not enough juice in that. So I don't know what the max R is. I'm gonna say something like 4.7. And yeah, that was a very beautiful trade, but it's good that I did not take it. So that was perfect. And not taking it was the right decision. All right. So just gonna go over here. Both of these trades were perfect. And that's it. So, reflection, no trades. Watch UK 100 for a trade but didn't enter due to news. And crypto is setting up nicely. Will follow over the weekend too, probably. Yeah. So, anything on the weekend? Nah, probably not. I mean, it's Saturday now and I'm not trading anything. Yeah, crypto is in a very, very nice environment right now. Especially Ethereum just today reached a new all-time high, which is amazing. So I think there might be a lot of altcoin action following. Um, right now, Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin, which wow, that's something we've been waiting for such a long, long time. And I think there is a good chance that Ethereum is going to run to new all-time highs just like Bitcoin did, and with it, the tide is going to rise, and it's the uh, perfect context to watch for some crypto plays. So I will definitely be doing that. I'm trading on Hyperliquid. Uh, one thing that I definitely need to do is I need to spend more time curating watch lists for my cryptos because cryptos are really doing well right now. I'm entering them on 5 minutes and 30 minutes. So it's a little bit different in terms of like the watch list curation. I need to go over many, many more assets, and that takes a little bit of time. And I'm not complaining about it. It's all right, but I just need to get a bit more used to it, so to say. So definitely look out for cryptos. There's a lot of money to be made, I believe, especially if you trade like a smaller account. But even if you trade like let's say on the 1 hour entries, I think you can get really really good entries right now. So yeah, cryptos are hot. Definitely going to be looking into that. And yeah, well, let's do this part. So what went well? Stick to my rules. Well, follow the rules well. Patient. Didn't force anything. Okay. What went bad? Didn't trade. Didn't take the trade I was supposed to. Always evaluate liquidity based on the E time frame, based on the intended E time frame. Okay. So the reason for this is it's stupid for me to evaluate UK 100 on the 10 second if I don't intend to enter on the 10 seconds, right? I intend to enter on the 1 minute, so I should evaluate it on the 1 minute. If I did, I would be up +5. So I would be up +4.8 because of comms, but I didn't, so my results are actually 0. So if I go into my weekly analysis here, put in week 34. Hello? What happened? Okay. Week 34, yep, I didn't take any trades. If I traded perfectly in week 34, why does it always jump all the way here? Yep, I would be up 4.8. Makes sense. Yeah, I'm not mad at myself for not taking this. It's okay. What's beautiful about this is, well, what's positive is that my system is really capturing these moves beautifully. Whenever there is momentum, I'm there pretty much. The past weeks has shown that. It was unfortunate that I wasn't present at the PC or wasn't following that given asset, but had I been following that asset, my system would have captured amazing moves. And it keeps me out of 99% of price action. And that is exactly what I want to be doing. That's exactly what I envision my trading to be like and what I believe good trading is. It Anton says it all the time. We filter out more than 99% of the price action. So the rules should really they should really showcase that, right? So I'm happy with the results. It's all good. But for next week, which is gonna be week 35, like this. Okay. What do I need to do? Anything, any news, like any new rules? I don't think so. I think I just need to stick to doing what I'm doing, and I'm gonna be completely fine. So currently, I'm still in. Let's go to my forward test real quick. I'm still in a DD, which I would have been completely out of if I traded the right assets at the right time, but it's alright. I'm still in -20 RDD here, but it's looking really good in these last couple of weeks. I'm climbing up, and once I get into new all-time highs with these refined rules, and then I'm going to continue with my challenge. And as you can see, I'm very serious about it. And even though I know that my system was uh, good enough to capture these moves, I'm going to be 100% honest with myself. And I'm not going to like pretend that I captured those moves, right? The point of forward test is not necessarily to prove to myself that my strategy works. It's also to prove to myself that I will be able to execute properly. That's what forward testing is all about. And I didn't execute properly. That's something I need to get better at, but my strategy is perfect. So I'm already such a huge step ahead of all the previous times that I wasn't completely sure if my system is good enough, but now I have like 100% confidence in my system. Now I just need to train myself in following it perfectly. And Anton says it all the time also. There will be moves that I miss. It's completely normal. And I'm normalizing it with this. I'm just like experiencing it, setting up expectations for myself, making sure that no matter what happens in the future when I live execute, I will be ready for it. And I will miss moves, just like I missed in the previous weeks, and it's completely fine. My edge is still going to play out well, and yeah, once it does to a certain degree, I will resume my challenge, which currently sits at, I think, -0.4%. I haven't really touched it. I only trade it once a month to for the consistency rule or whatever it is. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about this week. I don't think there is anything else. I don't think I drew anything in my understanding or anything like that. Did I maybe add any lessons or some shit? Uh, this lesson is from ages ago, so no. Nope, everything's fine. All right. Well, if any of this sparks some ideas in you, as always, shoot me a DM or tag me in Trade Talk. I'm happy to talk about trading always. And I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekends and peace out.